Now, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar entitled New Jersey Solar TREC Program. I'm Jane Seagraves Sidebottom, Vice President of Marketing and Business Development with APPI Energy. And I'd like to introduce to you this morning Michael Payne, our Corporate Counsel and Executive Vice President, who has had numerous solar projects under management and wanted to share with you this morning this really exciting opportunity in New Jersey. We have not seen this type of a program in any other state before, and it's very lucrative for all of those that participate. Today's program, you will be muted. However, you do have the opportunity to ask questions via the chat box located at the bottom with Q&A. At this point, I'd like to go ahead and turn the program over to Mr. Payne and learn more about the New Jersey TREC Solar Program. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Jane, and thank you. And thanks everyone for participating this morning. We're going to try to keep this pretty crisp and move it along so we can, I'll take about 15 to 20 minutes or so to discuss the opportunity, and then we'll open it up for questions at the end. So again, thank you for joining us. As Jane mentioned, this is truly a unique opportunity for specific to electricity customers across the state of New Jersey. Whether you're currently served by one of the investor-owned utilities, JCP&L, PSE&G, or Atlantic City, or a municipal electric utility or a cooperative, and no matter what type of entity you are, whether you're a business, an industrial, a commercial, a nonprofit, a school, or governmental entity, you at that first level qualify for this program. What we're going to do today is to go through here and share with you some of the details of the program and some of the qualification things that we'll need to go through to see if it really does fit for you. But the bottom line is that this opportunity, again, is unique. It's only been in the New Jersey market for several weeks. It'll be in the market for another year or so, but it's important to take a hard look at it now and work with us to see if you can qualify for the program. And if you do, the rewards and benefits can be significant for you. So Jane, I think we'll move next to the opportunity. So as Jane mentioned, the program is called the New Jersey TREC Program. Basically, this is a solar PV process that we're diagramming here that shows how solar works. Bottom line is that this opportunity is a program that's been issued by the regulatory entities and the New Jersey legislature with incentives for New Jersey customers to install solar solutions anytime between now and the end of next year. And if you do that, the incentives for that are quite significant. The solar arrays can be either a rooftop array, a land mount array, or solar canopies for parking canopies, or any combination of those three qualify for these unique incentives. So Jane, if you go to the next slide. So again, it's no matter where your property, your business is located across the state, initially you qualify. It covers the entire state. This program has basically placed a high incentive value on new installation of solar. It lasts through at least 15 years. You can go longer with some of the solar developers, but it gives you an opportunity to install solar and benefit from it. The renewable energy certificates, or RECs, are earmarked and vintage starting this year and next, and can last for 15 years. Projects do need to be completed by the end of next year. That gives us plenty of time. If you look at the timeline here, what we do want to focus on, though, to be timely about this, is that it's important, if you are interested, to contact us, let us begin our due diligence, go through the qualification process to see if it does fit. If it doesn't, we want to get rolling, at least with the application and all of the processes around working with a solar developer to get in line, if you will, to make sure that we're not delayed later when it comes to regulatory approvals, including work with your local utility that is required to get the program fully fully implemented. So again, very straightforward. The time to think about this is now. You just simply contact APPI. I will talk through it with you. Margot Madden, our Vice President for Solutions, will, and one of our other team members. We have quite a lot of expertise in this area and have fully due diligence the program, so we're able to talk to you about it.
Great.
Jane?
All right.
So some important characteristics of this program. First of all, is that there's no capital expenditure required by you, the customer. The program is put together by solar developers that we have done complete due diligence on it and will continue to monitor. This is an important part of our approach, and for you to understand that to be able to participate in this program, you're going to have to work with someone that has solar expertise, specifically in New Jersey and behind programs like this. So we have essentially pre-due diligence and pre-qualified several solar developers that meet those criteria. They have national scope experience. They've been around for a decade or more, and they've worked in New Jersey on many projects, many solar projects before, and including are working with customers now behind this program and these incentives. So we have all that set up for you. That's an important part of our approach, is to provide different optionality for our clients around any solution. And here, the key is to be able to work with a fully due diligence, trusted, capable solar developer. So when we do that and we bring that and we engage with them along with you as your advocate, we will go through the solution with the developer. They'll do the full analysis and then come back with the review and analytics to demonstrate what's possible with this solar solution. Again, it could be a combination of roof, ground mount, or solar canopy, parking canopies, or just one of those three. But the bottom line is that what we're finding, and we're already well down the road with several clients that are our clients in New Jersey. I'll share some information about that in a second, and the solar developers are as well with other clients that they have. But what we're finding is that it's a tremendous opportunity to reduce your electricity costs over that 15+ year period of time. And that's done by essentially replacing your current supply source, either with the utility or the municipality or the cooperative, with generation that's created by the solar array on your property. And you're going to go from possibly 10.5 cents and more, your current all-in cost with the New Jersey utility, down to 5 cents a kWh and under. Let me share a couple of examples with you. I was having a conversation just yesterday with one of our clients that's now in the process. They have 2 significantly sized office properties in the Princeton area. And one or both of those properties may even need a re-roof as part of the program, which can be included. The bottom line is their current all-in costs behind their utility are about 12 cents a kWh. Our expectation is that we'll be able to get them into a program that'll fit them exactly what they need, likely with the re-roof, that'll be well under 5 cents a kWh. Another example is a call I had yesterday with a manufacturer up in northern New Jersey. And he's now started down the process with his leadership team to explore this with us. And he's currently paying about 12.5 cents a kWh behind PSE&G. And when I went through the basics of this with him, he goes, well, we're definitely interested in this. We need to know all about it, because if we could lock in our electricity costs well under 5 cents for 15 years, then we need to explore this. So what are the next steps? So we started the process with him. Importantly as well, once the solar program is put in play, there's no ongoing maintenance or operational costs on behalf of you, the customer. The full solution is a turnkey solution that the solar developers create for you, all of which, of course, is pre-approved, pre-negotiated with you. It's not one size fits all. The solutions are customized to your location, your usage requirements, any special circumstances that you might have around your building or your property. For instance, another prospector we're working with in New Jersey, in the Trenton area, another manufacturer, he has a roof that's very old. It's actually in a structure that's over 100 years old, and the roof isn't quite that old, but it's very old. and it has special parapets and things like that. So we're going to look at all that, have the engineers really go through it and see what would be appropriate for that roof with solar panels. He may also be able to put some ground mount in. But the point I want to make there is don't automatically assume that your property, your building, or your land is not appropriate or suitable for a solar solution. You know, our approach is to look at it from a holistic point of view, make sure that any of these solutions or the combination of them can work for you, provide you all the facts, all the information, have the solar developers do all of the work, all the engineering, all the pre-qual, provide an ROI and all the financial information that you need to make a good, buying decision around this, and then advocate for you all along the way. So the steps that would be taken is that we have asked each of our clients to complete a very short, what we call our solar survey. It's just 2 pages. You provide basic information about your property and the roof and the land around it. Very straightforward. It'll take someone on your team literally just minutes to complete that survey. You return that to us with a copy of a recent electricity invoice for each of your electricity accounts at the location or locations that you want to have considered for the program. So with the solar survey and those invoices, we can start the assessment along with the solar developers to start queuing it up and get a flavor for what's going to work, what the possibilities are. And then if it looks like it's a go, we'll have conversations with you about it. The solar developers, engineers would schedule along with us an on-site assessment of your property, your building. And that way we'd be going to the next step, the next level of just how viable the project will be for you, all the while providing you any information that you need and scheduling things around what you need to see happen at times that work for you. Obviously, given what's going on in our world now around COVID and visitations to properties, whether they're business or whatever, schools, et cetera, we're very sensitive to that. The solar developers are. They would never contact you or come out unannounced. It would always be a pre-planned, scheduled visit for the appropriate personnel following all of the applicable precautions and safety measures to do any on-site evaluation. If you have more than one location in New Jersey, it's possible to aggregate those facilities or those locations to achieve even more benefit from the program. So maybe you have several locations, most of which or all of which are relatively small. Don't let that dissuade you. Those could be aggregated to create a solution opportunity that might work for you. As I touched on briefly earlier, the solutions that are being created can include a partial re-roof or a complete re-roof project prior to the solar installation going on the roof. The benefits from this program are significant enough through the TREC credit valuations, value valuations, that there's enough opportunity here to, again, include a roofing upgrade or a complete re-roof if that's required prior to any roof installation. Timing, here we mentioned the interconnect agreement. I touched on that earlier. Each utility has its own regulatory process that the solar developers are acutely aware of and experienced in to take a solar project through the regulatory process and all the protocols that each utility has. And ultimately, where you want to land with the utility is to secure your interconnect agreement. That agreement basically says, okay, we've done the full due diligence, we've gone through all the protocols, we've tested it, and that solar array that's being, that would be created for you, our customer, by this developer is now approved. You get your interconnect agreement. That's critical to be able to install the solar array. And just briefly on that, it's common sense. You would understand why, as solar arrays and other types of distributed generation come online, clients just can't put those up willy-nilly whenever they want, however they want. It needs to follow certain protocols for safety and reliability with your local utility. Here, the utilities are required to work with our clients and the solar developers behind this incentive program to get as much of this done as possible. Yet it's critical to work with a solar developer and APPI who understand the process and can usher you through it. There's no cost to you or a client for any of these steps, any of these assessments and evaluations and studies. All that's done by the developer. And unless and until you are completely satisfied and all of your evaluation and diligence has been done, and then sign a go forward agreement with the solar developer, there's no cost to you. So again, these are the things that we need. I touched on just to get started is the solar survey and copies of a recent invoice from your local utility. And then once we get rolling past that, if you can provide 12 months of a billing history, if you currently have an electricity supply contract in place that serves the building or the area that you want to have reviewed for this opportunity, then we'd like to get a copy of that electricity contract. If you have schematics or photographs, other information about any building or rooftop equipment that's going to be involved, we certainly would like to see that. Each solar developer will work with us and you to go through these steps and processes, pre-qualify, do the assessment. And part of that is determining, okay, if we're able to site this type of program, solar solution on your property, we need to be comfortable that your usage requiremms, your business profile, your financial health meet the standards for the whole program to work with the solar developer and the utility. So there's always that business credit involved in the process and references. And then, whatever your engagement preference might be, you do have options. You can purchase the solar system outright and utilize all the tax benefits associated with it within your business entities, or personally, if that's how you'd want to invest in it. Alternatively, you can have a third party completely finance, own, manage the asset. The solar developers offer both alternatives.
Sorry, Mike. Hold on.
That's fine. So that is the list of things that we need. Here's some information about APPI, our full range of services, a little bit about our history and our current status. We've worked with 160 different trade associations and other affinity organizations that have many members across the state of New Jersey now for 20 years. We have over 34,000 commercial and industrial electricity service accounts under management, including thousands in New Jersey. All totaled, we manage more than 10 billion kWh now, and more than 20 million decatherms of natural gas we have under management. So we'll take the holistic approach to looking at your situation, examine all the applicable information, your current status at the property, your current electricity supply status, what your plans are from a financial perspective and growth perspective, and then create a relationship with a solar developer that's going to fit exactly what you need. So with that, I'll say thank you and open it up for any questions.
Okay, Mike, we did have a couple of questions come in.
Okay, great.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can get to these questions.
Okay.
The first question, Mike, is are the incentives different for roof versus ground canopy?
Yes, that's an excellent question. Thank you. They're a little different. The maximum value in the incentives is for a roof installation. It's a comparable max value for solar canopies as well. The valuation for the TRECs is a little less for ground mount arrays. That's just how the regs in the program are written, but they're substantial for all three. So a combination works, or just roof, just ground mount, just solar canopy, as I mentioned before, all works. But again, the highest value is in the roofing solar array and in the solar canopy.
Great, thank you. Another question comes in. If APPI already helped me get into a supply agreement that is current, is this opportunity still open to me with the short timeline?
Yes. There's a couple pieces of that question. So the first part about a customer, whether it's a current APPI customer or not, a prospect who may be listening in or becomes aware of this, whether or not you're in a current supply contract, and no matter how long that contract runs, you should consider this opportunity. And the reason is that most supply contracts allow for solar installation in one way or another, or you have to coordinate it with the supplier if your solar array would start supply services prior to the expiration of your current contract. That can be coordinated. So we can work through all that. We've done it in the past. It's not a bar to considering this. In fact, the lion's share of the commercial and industrial market customers and governmental across the state of New Jersey now are in competitive supply contracts. So that's being worked through every day. We've done it a lot. All solar developers have too. And then as it ties into the time frame here, the time frame that I mentioned through the end of next year to get the array installed by the end of next year, that captures the maximum amount of benefits under the program. And depending upon how the customer is going to finance it or own it, that will trigger other benefits that can actually start earlier. Now, as it ties back into your supply contract, again, your supply contract might expire right at the end of next year or early in 2022 or 23. All that's okay. Or it might expire prior to that. All that would be coordinated with the developer around timing to start the supply of your array, or we would advocate with you, with your current supplier. And if you have another consultant involved already, we would work collaboratively with them to make sure that you're fully advocated for and that you understand everything and that it's all going to work out for you. But it's not a bar because you have a current supply contract at all.
Okay, great. I have another question. I have a roof solar farm on one of our 2 buildings. Does that have an effect on this program?
Could, possibly. The other building that doesn't have a solar array on it might be available as an opportunity for that. But really, until we were able to see the enabling agreements behind that current solar program that you have in place and what electricity meters have been affected, and really the current status of your whole supply circumstances, then we'd be able to give you a very straightforward answer about, okay, the TREC program still applies to you in this way or not. But again, many of our clients and prospects were early adopters with solar across New Jersey. In fact, New Jersey's been one of the more active states and in the solar arena, promoting and incenting solar now for 10, 11 years. So a lot of prospects have solar on some of their assets or have thought about it, but didn't go forward for whatever reason. The point is, this is a great time to reevaluate that and to look at it. Even with a current solar array in place, perhaps it could be augmented, supplemented, or over time, phased in or out in coordination with something here. The solar developers are very experienced with all that, and we look at all the possible ways for it to apply.
Right. Okay, one other question that just came in. What if I don't have space for a solar array on my property? Can you still help our organization utilize solar energy somehow?
Yes. Solar developers are active across the state, including the ones that I've mentioned already. And there are other solar solutions that can be evaluated and priced out for you specifically, even though it doesn't involve a siting of a solar array on your property. So if you're interested in solar, but you're very sure it doesn't going to work on it wouldn't work on your property, contact us anyway. Let's talk through it, get a sense of what your need is, what your interest is, and then we can think about the right relationship structure to pursue that, to see what is possible for you. But and then as well, this is one program that New Jersey and the regulatory that the legislatures and politicians and the regulatory entities have laid in. It's got a specific time frame, specific evaluations, high incentives to install solar on site behind your meter. But there are other programs available all the time, and new programs come to the fore regularly, and we monitor that and track that. So if you want to engage on this, please do. Why not? We'll start the dialogue. There's absolutely no cost to you, the customer, for any of this engagement and the studies and the analysis for us to be able to help you any way we can.
Great. Okay, Mike, I think that closes out the questions that we've gotten in.
Okay.
So, with that, I'd like to go ahead and thank everyone for attending this morning. I hope that you found the presentation to be educational, and we look forward to helping you in the future. And with that, I will go ahead and close us out. And this program is copyright APPI Energy 2020. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.